Little Kids Rock is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that transforms children's lives by restoring and revitalizing music education in underfunded public schools. Little Kids Rock was founded in San Francisco in 2002 by David Wish, an elementary school teacher who had grown frustrated with the lack of music education funding at his school. Today, Little Kids Rock is one of the leading nonprofit providers of free lessons and instruments to underprivileged children in U.S. public schools and has served more than 100,000 students at over 1,200 schools in 24 cities nationwide. Did we mention this organization is only 8 years old? This organization is unique in that the earned to unearned ratio is 100% unearned to 0% earned. In other words, this organization is completely dependent on contributions, grants, and donations, and does not generate any revenue of its own. This is possible because the organization is sponsored by many large corporations such as Red Bull, Vendor, Google Matching Gift Program, Goldman Sachs, and foundations like Goldhirsch and the Dr. Phil Foundation. Oh, and on top of that, they've got famous musicians like Bonnie Raitt, Paul Simon, Ziggy Marley, B.B. King, and Slash of Guns N' Roses as members of their board.
The mama pajama rolled out of bed and she ran to the police station. When the papa found out, he began to shout.
Little Kids Rock's mission is to provide all students the opportunity of a first-rate education. They believe that learning to play a musical instrument can be a transformative experience in students' lives, with the power to inspire the creativity and confidence that are critical to success in school and beyond.
They fulfill this mission by providing free music programs to schools who are not receiving enough funding for music. The organization donates all of the instruments to the schools, as well as provides free workshops for teachers to learn the company's methodology for teaching the program.
All in all, the after-school programs cost the school's teachers and student nothing. This is a very cost-effective way of running the program because the majority of teachers are volunteers. Therefore, there are minimal salary expenses, and the organization does not have to worry about maintaining a facility, which is often a costly aspect of many arts organizations.
From 2008 to 2009, their total costs are nominal, at only 5.1% in comparison to the amount of money raised, with total revenue up 107.3% and total cash up 239.1%.
The fact that the organization has good liquidity proves that the organization can support a fiscally sound operation for the coming year.
Their total assets also grew 221.8%, and their temporarily restricted net assets grew an astounding 852.4%.
With a completely mission-driven organization, backed by well-known musicians and corporations, in addition to their low operating costs, are all reasons why this organization has continued to prosper. However, we have to take a closer look at the financial management of the past years to completely grasp how this organization has been so successful.
Beginning in 2001, LKR had very little contributions because they were not an established nonprofit. By 2002, it had more than doubled with the help of the Rex Foundation grant of $5,000.
After a booming PR year being featured in the Rolling Stones, CNN Headline News, and Billboard, the nonprofit gained an esteemed reputation in the public eye.
Their jump to almost $500,000 in contributions during 2005 can be due to the prestigious grant of $300,000 from the Draper Richards Foundation, as well as entering into 7 new states over the past 3 years.
The Draper Richards Foundation for Social Entrepreneurship provides early-stage grants of $300,000 over 3 years to social entrepreneurs with a vision of changing the world. One of its staff members serves on the Fellows boards. This alone says something about the organization in itself.
In 2006, LKR launches an online television station to give free lessons to students everywhere. The online television station helped increase awareness, increasing contribution money by $275,000, which could explain their surplus of $280,870 for the year.
The organization continues to grow in 2007 after they launched their online television show where they offered kids lessons everywhere, reaching over 12,000 total. They were featured on Nickelodeon, MTV, and the Hallmark Channel. Little Kids Rock now offers free downloadable lessons through iTunes and supplies the #1 most downloaded video at iTunes U. While continuing to increase awareness of the organization, Little Kids Rock makes a costly but appreciated pledge to offer free downloadable music lessons from iTunes. While this might have cost the organization a lot of money, explaining the deficit of $20,484, it was most likely part of their plan to increase public awareness through the ever-popular and expanding means of the World Wide Web.
2008 was another deficit year for the organization at $204,578. However, this deficit was most likely planned because this is the year the organization expanded into 4 new markets, facilitating over 50,000 students. 2008 was also a milestone year with a grant from the Goldhirsch Foundation for $375,000. In 2008, support increased by 108.5%.
The grant is what most likely helped the organization end 2009 with a surplus of $553,097. When looking at the support schedule from over the years 2007 and 2008's deficits did not do much damage to the organization, which is probably an indication that these deficits were planned.
Since Little Kids Rock Across America, sponsored by the Dr. Phil Foundation, launched in December 2009, more than 10,000 students in 84 schools are being served by this unique program designed to encourage youth to form bands.
Over a 5-year span, Little Kids Rock looks to be financially stable with a budget surpluses in 2005 and 2006, a small deficit in 2007, a larger deficit in 2008, and a huge surplus again in 2009.
As you can see, this organization is clearly mission-driven because they spend most of their money on programming every year. Consequently, their management and fundraising expenses are minimal because they are mainly volunteer-based and they are supported by several large corporations as well as having a strong celebrity backing.
In regards to the organization's change in net assets over this 5-year period, Little Kids Rock has no permanently restricted net assets, only unrestricted and temporarily restricted. Although not all net assets are cash, Little Kids Rock cash on hand at the end of the year is a great indicator of the organization's financial stability and liquidity, especially since the organization does not have any large liabilities.
Cash and equivalents have been over 90% of the total assets for Little Kids Rock. The only other assets accounted for are inventories or fixed assets, which are a very small percentage. Although they may have ended in a deficit some years, overall, LKR is classified as a very liquid organization.
Since the organization relies on 100% unearned revenue, their money is going to be directly program related. When looking at net assets and the timing of grants received, they give great explanation to the change over the past years. In 2005, they received a $300,000 3-year grant, so that is part of the reason for the large increase in net assets.
At the end of 2007, they are left with $252,578 in temporarily restricted net assets, which are to be used in 2008 for video music lessons, content development, piano curriculum development, and expansions. This is such a large amount to be used within that year because they are expanding into 4 new markets using their grant money.
At the end of 2008, they have dropped to $50,000 in temporarily restricted net assets, which are to be used for the expansion in Pasadena and Ravenswood during 2009.
In 2009, the $476,214 in temporary restricted net assets is available for programming in the following areas: Atlanta, Bay Area, Pasadena, and for the Dr. Phil Foundation.
So where are they now? Little Kids Rock is running the only national, school-based rock music program and the largest guitar program in the U.S. public school system. And they have formed a long-term strategic partnership with Fender Musical Instruments Corporation to bring thousands of new instruments to classrooms across the country.